You know that tiny little padlock icon you see up in your browser's address bar? We see it all the time, and we just trust it. We trust it with our bank details, our passwords, everything. But that trust isn't just wishful thinking. It's actually engineered. And it's all thanks to a really clever algorithm that solved a problem that was thousands of years old. So today, let's pull back the curtain on this unseen engine of our digital world, the RSA algorithm.
Okay, so here's the puzzle. Imagine you need to send a locked box to your friend. But here's the catch. You can't send the keys separately. An eavesdropper could just grab the key. And then what's the point of the lock? So how does your friend get the box open if you can't give them the key without someone else stealing it? For centuries, this exact problem made secure communication over any public channel, like, the internet, seem pretty much impossible.
The old way of doing things, which we call symmetric encryption, used the exact same key to both lock and unlock a message. It works great if you can get the key to the other person safely. This is what's called the key distribution problem. You need a secure channel like a secret meeting or a trusted courier just to share the key before you can even start talking securely. For something as massive and fast as the internet, yeah, that's a complete non-starter.
The solution, when it came, was just brilliant. It was a total shift in thinking. Instead of relying on a physical secret, what if security could be based on math? Specifically, a kind of mathematical imbalance. This is the whole idea behind public key cryptography. You don't hide the lock. You create a special lock that anyone can snap shut, but only one single person in the whole world has the key to open.
The concept that makes all of this possible is called a one-way function, and it's actually pretty easy to understand. Think of it like mixing two very specific colors of paint together. It's super easy to just, mix them up and get a new color. Anyone can do it in a few seconds. That's the easy direction.
Right, but what if I gave you only that final mixed-up paint color and asked you, hey, what were the exact two original colors I used to make this? Well, suddenly that's an insanely difficult, almost impossible problem to solve. And that predictable difficulty, that huge gap between how easy it is to go one way and how hard it is to go back, that's the mathematical bedrock that RSA is built on.
And this brings us to the specific one-way function that RSA uses, multiplying prime numbers. So as you can see here, the easy part is taking two massive prime numbers, we're talking hundreds of digits long, and just multiplying them. A computer can do that in the blink of an eye. But the hard direction, taking that giant 200-digit result and trying to figure out the two original primes that made it, that could take our best supercomputers thousands, even millions of years. That enormous gap in effort is what creates the security.
Now here's where it gets really, really cool. It's not just a one-way street. It's what we call a trapdoor function. This means that the super hard direction suddenly becomes easy again if you have a secret piece of information. For RSA, that secret, that trapdoor, is knowing what those original prime numbers were. If you know the primes, you can build the key that unlocks the message. Nobody else can.
Okay, so that's the theory. Pretty neat, right? But how does this elegant piece of math actually become the thing that protects you every single day online? Let's take a look at how it works in the real world, securing everything from your online banking to your social media feed.
So, when you visit a secure website, a little digital handshake happens in milliseconds. The server sends your browser its public key. Think of it as an open padlock that anyone can use. Your browser then creates a brand new secret key just for this one conversation, puts it in a box, and locks it with the server's public padlock. It sends that locked box back, and since only the server has the private key, only the server can open it. Boom! Now you both share a secret key, and you can talk back and forth quickly and securely.
But RSA isn't just about hiding things. It's got another amazing trick, proving identity. And it does this by just flipping the process on its head. So for secrecy, anyone uses your public key to lock something that only your private key can open. But for a digital signature, you use your private key to sign something, and then anyone can use your public key to check that signature. It proves it was really you who signed it and that the message hasn't been tampered with. It's genius.
For decades, this system has been the absolute bedrock of our digital trust. It's worked beautifully. But now that mathematical foundation we've just talked about is facing a truly existential threat from a completely new kind of computer. The game is about to change, big time.
Even with the computers we have today, it's been a constant arms race. Keys that we thought were perfectly secure 10 or 15 years ago are now breakable. We've had to keep making the keys bigger and bigger, going from 1024-bit keys, which are now considered unsafe, to a bare minimum of 2048-bit keys today. We're always trying to stay one step ahead.
And this chart really puts that into perspective. Just look at the size of that RSA bar.
To get the same level of security as a pretty standard 128-bit AES key, you need a monstrous 3072-bit RSA key. This shows you just how hard that hard math problem needs to be. It takes gigantic numbers to make it all work.
But here's the game changer. Back in 1994, a mathematician named Peter Shor came up with an algorithm specifically for a quantum computer. And this algorithm is basically the perfect weapon against RSA. It's designed to do one thing incredibly well: find the prime factors of huge numbers. It doesn't just do the old method faster, it attacks the problem in a fundamentally new way that's impossible for our normal computers.
So what does this actually mean? It means that the very problem that would take a normal computer millennia to solve, a powerful enough quantum computer could solve it in a matter of hours. This isn't just a small step up, it's a cliff. It completely shatters the core assumption that RSA security relies on. It breaks the whole thing.
Now that sounds pretty terrifying, right? But the good news is the world's cryptographers saw this coming from a long way off. And for years now, they've been in a global race to build a new foundation for our digital trust, a foundation that can survive attacks from both the computers we have now and the quantum computers of the future.
This table really lays out the problem clearly. Look at that bottom row, quantum threat. Shor's algorithm doesn't just wreck RSA, it also wrecks its main alternative, ECE. Basically, our entire system for exchanging keys and signing documents is vulnerable. Now, symmetric encryption like AES gets weaker, but we can fix that by just making the keys longer. But for the asymmetric systems like RSA, they're just completely broken.
So the solution is a whole new area of research called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. The goal here is to find brand new mathematical problems, brand new one-way functions that we believe are hard for everyone, including quantum computers. We're literally searching for new kinds of hard math to build the next generation of security on.
And here are some of the leading contenders. Instead of factoring prime numbers, these new systems are based on completely different problems. For instance, lattice-based crypto is kind of like trying to find the shortest path through an incredibly complex, high-dimensional grid. Others are based on the difficulty of fixing errors in a deliberately scrambled message. It's a whole new and fascinating mathematical frontier. And that really brings us to the legacy of RSA, because even though the algorithm itself will one day be replaced, the idea it introduced to the world is permanent. RSA was the first real working proof that you could create trust out of thin air between total strangers over an open channel. It proved that privacy and identity could be guaranteed with nothing but pure mathematics.
The story of RSA is really the story of cybersecurity itself. You have a brilliant discovery that sparks a revolution, but then a new threat emerges that challenges everything, which in turn forces us to innovate all over again. It's a cycle, and it leaves us with a really important question for the future. As our world gets even more digital, what are the next great ideas we're going to need to engineer trust in the worlds to come?